And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Pug Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, what's up, everyone? Back again after a UFC Fight Night with one of the best fights we have seen so far in the year 2020. Outstanding fight. We are weighing in Josh Thompson and John McCarthy with Podcast Dave on the controls. You can catch us on YouTube. That's a big one for us. If you go to YouTube, make sure that you hit the subscribe, give us the thumbs up, and if you give us the thumbs down, we don't like you, just so you know. You can also get us on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and Apple iTunes, which is where most people will listen to us as they drive. Catch us on ProWrestlingTees.com for shirts for weighing in. Cool t-shirts that we have. Got a couple of them, different ones. One of Josh that's all by himself. Don't buy that one. That one's just crazy. But the other ones are really cool. And if you go to ProWrestlingTees.com, check into weighing in, and you can get 20% off if you use the code podcast. So, Joshua, what's up, baby? That was a good fight.
That was a great introduction. I got to continue to tell you that I'm not going to lie. Dave, for like the last probably 2 months, has said, you know
I was
what?
so glad when you were doing it, dude.
Oh, it's
I was
horrible.
so glad when you were doing it.
I didn't want to do it, but I was like, yeah, you never really took the reins. So I was like, and then Podcast Dave was
not. Why would I?
Podcast Dave was like, you know what? Fucking let John do it. You're butchering it like every week. Can you just let him do it? I was like, you know what? Screw it. John, take it away.
All right.
You crushed it. You killed it again. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little upset. You did. It was awesome. The other part of it, I hate the fact that Podcast Dave was right to let you do it.
Bad.
It drives me absolutely
I'm sorry
crazy.
to do that to you.
Well, you can just babble the outro because no one listens to that anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think anyone that listens to this show listens to what I have to say. I mean, hopefully they'll listen a little bit tonight, but we'll see. I agree. Absolutely fucking one of the best fights I've ever seen. Not just in 2020, that I have ever seen. The punch output, just everything they had in the first 3 rounds. And you could tell, obviously, as it got to the 4th and the 5th, it wasn't anywhere near the output that it was in the first 3. But you wouldn't expect it to be. I mean, it was absolutely amazing with the wrestling, the grappling, the threats of the guillotine. The arming guillotine was very nice. There was a lot of great stuff tonight. I thought the card, outside of no name value, I thought the card was pretty good. Platinum did a good job of getting the win over Mickey Gall. There's a lot of things I can go into. The main event of the prelims with Luis Pena. Pena, everything tonight I thought was phenomenal. Everyone in that cage fought their asses off. And I said last week, I was like, I feel like the fights have kind of turned a little bit of sparring. Well, guess what? They must have fucking been paying attention to us, because tonight they came out just guns blazing, great fights. Loved it all, man. I loved every second of every fight tonight. Great job tonight by all the fighters.
That Pena fight, you talk about that prelim main event, I guess, whatever you want to.
I want to give a little bit.
But Worthy, you gotta love that guy, man. And that's the guy that came in last minute to fight an ex-teammate and ends up knocking him out. Mm-hmm. That's what gets him in the UFC. And Violent Bob Ross, Louis Pena, he's good, man. He's solid. And you saw Worthy got that guillotine so deep when you saw Pena's head getting off to the side. It's like, hey, you're making a mistake. In fact, I'm sitting there with my son, and my son goes, you better watch his neck. He's getting it to the side. And all of a sudden you see it comes so deep. And when he locks it over, I go, oh, he's in trouble. So even his legs weren't right, but the fence was keeping Pena from being able to swing around the way that would relieve some pressure. What a big win by Worthy. That's 2 in a row, man. You know what? Sometimes the gods shine on you, and just because you keep working hard, good things happen. Good for him, man. Good for him.
Luis used to train here at AK for years. Yeah. And then he just moved because it's too expensive to live here. Everyone knows that. That's a big reason why we have a hard time keeping fighters, like really top level guys here. It's fucking expensive to live in the Bay Area. So he ended up going out to Florida. So I believe he's at ATT now. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little upset. Not the fact that he lost. I'm upset at the fact that, look, the guillotine was in deep, but there was no leg control. All he had to do was a forward flip, and he was fine. Like spin the neck and forward flip, could have got out. no leg control. I was yelling at the fucking TV. Like, what are you doing? He's like trying to pull his head out. I was so upset, man. I mean, on the fact that it was just because of the way he lost. And I had him winning the fight. I thought he was winning the fight. I thought he was doing well. It was close, but I had him winning the fight.
He was winning the fight.
Yeah. And so when it got to there, I just, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not saying he would have got out. What I'm saying though is your last ditch effort is always to like either do a forward roll, like kind of like a cartwheel or whatever it is, and spin your neck and try and get out that way, whatever it is. But I
don't think he was getting out of that one, Josh. That was so deep the way it was set and the way he's pinching in. It's that scissoring effect. It was so deep.
But third round,
made a mistake. He's sweaty.
Third round, sweat. Yeah. When you do a forward roll, the guy's got to come on top. There's an adjustment, a little adjustment period. Yep. All he has to do is forward roll, spin the neck. We've seen guys like Uriah Faber do it. Obviously, I'm talking like top level guys. Obviously, Uriah, Chad, Mendes. I've seen top guys do these type of things, and I've done it a bunch of times myself in training. But it creates a chance and an opportunity to get out. If I have to tap or go last ditch effort. Fuck, I'm going last ditch effort, man. I'm going forward roll, like spin the neck, try and get the hell out. He was winning the fight, and it was one of those things. I mean, because I do know him. He's worked for me here at my gym a couple times. He's a phenomenal person, great guy, fun. The energy is great to be around. Just super great guy. But it was one of those things. Just I know maybe in the pressure, the choke's on tight. You're obviously not thinking properly.
And when you're
tired, you're tired. But I had him winning the fight, and just that one little mistake, I feel like it would. If he could have popped his head out or got out of there, I think he would have ended up winning the fight. He's probably going to listen to this and be like, you know what? I'm so mad at you, Josh, because you're fucking right. You're right. I was winning that fight. He would have walked out with my win bonus, but it is what it is, man. On to the next one. That's what you got to do.
That's it. What more can you do? Hey, you got to, you either win or you learn.
Yeah.
And if you're learning from those mistakes that, you ended up getting into that position based upon doing something that maybe I could have done, did put my head to the inside instead of the outside. You got to learn.
Yeah. What was the next fight on the card? What was the first fight on the main card?
That was
the main event for the prelims. But what was the first fight on the main card?
The Julian Erosa and Sean Woodson.
Oh yeah.
It was a good fight.
It was a good
fight.
Great fight.
Man.
6'3", 147 or 145. Good God. You know who it reminds me of, though? Remember the guy that broke his leg that looked like a rubber band before?
Corey Hill.
Yeah, Corey Hill. He reminds me of that. Not like fighting style or anything. I'm just simply saying, like, what was Corey Hill? 6'2", 6'3"?
6'6".
Jesus, man. 6'6".
6'6", 155.
No, he fought
in your weight class.
I thought he fought at 45.
155.
Are you sure?
Come on, he's 6'6". Yeah, I'm positive.
Corey Hill?
Yeah, Corey Hill.
Hill.
You know what? I do recall. Yes, it is. You are right. Yeah, every once in a while you get one right.
Every once in a while you get lucky.
Every once in a while. What'd you think?
I thought that was a great fight. I thought it was Erosa is a guy that, I did his fights in the Ultimate Fighter when he was in there. He's tough as hell. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he'll make mental mistakes and he tries to get too aggressive, gets his chin a little high, gets tagged. That happened to him in the fight. He got popped. He went down, but he collected himself, goes for the takedown, gets himself back. Just an outstanding job. But when he landed that submission, let's talk about the submission because God knows it's a Darce choke is what everyone's saying. No, it wasn't. It's a Japanese necktie in the end, people. That's why he's got the leg the way it is. That's why his neck's getting cranked over. Know your damn submissions. Hello.
I feel like we have some animosity towards some of the commentators these days.
I don't have any animosity towards. I love the commentators. I love Bisping's enthusiasm, especially when he gets excited during the and he's screaming out, man. I do like that. Dan Cormier does that.
Yeah, it'd be kind of nice if Bisping would kind of get something right every once in a while, though. So that might be nice. We'll get into Bisping a little bit later in some irrelevant podcast he does. We'll talk about that as well.
Does he have a podcast?
I haven't heard of it, but I heard it's like, I don't know, something about him and me and you and whatever it's called. Something, I don't even know what it's called. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, let's talk about the fight. He reminds me of Corey Hill, and I thought he did a great job up until the submission.
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Tired.
Yeah, he got tired.
But that's what led to it.
But you can tell, Erosa. Like what I was thinking was, what was it? Was it Woodson?
Woodson.
Yeah, Woodson. In the clinch, he didn't really have a whole lot. The length, the reach, all those things. I know I don't want to say it the wrong way. I was going to say something else. But anyways, so Woodson, I was about to, actually. I really was. It just came to my mind right when I was saying it. But Woodson inside the clinch, inside that close range, Rosa, it was there all day, and he just kept backing away and giving Woodson the space to get in the long exchanges. I'm like, what are you doing? He was getting some good work done in the knees and the elbow range, in the dirty boxing range. I felt like the fight should have been there. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, who are your corners? Because every time they got in that close range, Woodson would put his head down, like kind of reaching out with his arms, trying to like grab the head, anything along. And he wasn't having a lot of success in the beginning part of the fight with that. And Arosa, all he had to do was just dirty box, some knees, clinch. I'm not saying he needed to take him down, but I'm saying threaten a little bit maybe. It just seemed like it never clicked for him to fight smart in that area. Instead, a couple exchanges, they were in the clinch, or they were close to the clinch, and he would back away and give him space to start getting the jab and the left hand off. And Woodson was having success with that long jab and that long left hand. I'm like, what are you doing? Get back in there and get after him. And so,
but it was a good fight.
It was a great fight.
It really was.
But when you're talking, but you and I both like to talk about this, especially when we're doing commentary stuff for Bellator, is we like to talk about fight IQ. And Rosa didn't show a lot of it today. Like, there was moments where he did some good stuff. Don't get me wrong. But when you have a situation like that where you're able to win in those positions and your opponent has no answer for it, especially when you're fighting someone that's 6'3", 147, and the long reach and the range, the long push kick, all those things, crush the pocket. You've said this before a couple of times. Crush the pocket, stay in the pocket, make it a phone booth. Don't let them get out of that.
Take that advantage away.
Yeah, and he just did.
Got to look towards it.
It felt like it never clicked. I mean, up until the point where he got the submission, but it felt like it never clicked for him. And I hope he listens to this. I hope he learns a little bit, and maybe even fires his corners. I don't know what it is, but whatever. You got as a corner. These are the things that they're paying you to see. Like we want you to see these things because out there you got to make those calls. But you want your corner to be yelling in your ear, hey, let's get in close. Let's close that distance. Whatever it is.
That's what Perry's corner was doing. Mike, you look great.
You look great.
Mike, you're looking great.
Hey,
she was right. So
yeah.
I got nothing more to add to it.
Hey, a win's a win, my friend. A win's a win. We'll get into that in a a little bit. What was the next fight?
Takashi Sato and Jason Witt.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I knew that one.
Yeah. Sato's good, man.
He is good. He's tough. He's got good stand-up, good power. He's got a great ground game. He's good everywhere. I knew that one was not going to go very well for the Vanilla Gorilla. The third Vanilla Gorilla number 3.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was with a group of people watching the fights, and someone goes, "Yeah, I've seen him fight. Yeah, Sato, I've seen him fight." And I was like, "No, you haven't." Yeah, I saw him fight.
Sato, dude.
Different Sato, guys. Okay, not all Asian people look alike. Okay, I was like, calm down, guys, calm down. Sato, we all got the, No, he's good. He's
really good.
Not much I can take from him, man. Clean shot. Nice 1-2 combination right down the pipe.
Come on, was that thing straight and hard though? Doink! You saw it, and you saw the lights just get. Yink.
Yep. And now
came back from it,
but I wanted to ask you that. Like, do you watch the fighters' eyes as they hit the ground?
Always.
Because when I saw the video,
the way they fall.
Yeah, when I saw the video, he fell like kind of fell backwards, hit the ground, but then like put his hands up or his elbows on the ground. But his eyes were looking at the ref. And I don't know if they were focused or not, but his opponent was coming in for the finish, and then like the camera switched or whatever. But you could just tell he was done. He was out. Yeah. It was glazed over. Everything was shut off. He was just looking to see what he could find around, in that area when he hit the ground. Good fight by Sato, man. Good fight. I mean, couldn't get much from it other than the fact that good, nice, clean 1-2 down the pipe. Boom. Done. Great job.
That was the same if you go back into the preliminaries and you had Felipe Lin against Tanner Bosser. Mm-hmm. And you look at the way when people fall, they fall certain ways. When they're hurt, they'll do different things. One of the things, I always say there's 5 different types of knockdowns. Okay. And then obviously there's more, but there's 5 basic ones that you're going to look at. And when you see someone get hit and they're going down, the first type you'll see, the lowest level, is they're going down and they're going to fall backwards because we don't have these big appendages, off our heels. So if we start to lose balance, we usually go backwards towards our butt. But you'll see that their hands in some fashion are going to be going out, or their elbows get in a position to try to catch their fall. And so that's telling you as the referee, hey, the brain is still connected. All right. The brain is still there. It's attached. He got buzzed, but he knows where he's at. She knows where she's at, and they know what's going on, and they're trying to actually lessen the fall. That's all good stuff. Now it's a question of what's going to be the follow-up. Then you'll get the ones where they get hit and they're going backwards, but they don't brace their fall. Their hands are not going back. Their hands are going either up or they're going out, and they're going flat back, and their body's catching onto the canvas, and sometimes their head's snapping back. That's going to be your next type. Then off of that, you're going to get the ones where they go sideways. People do not fall sideways normal. What happens is you get that disruption of the signal in the brain down to, the muscles and nerves, and people don't pick up their feet. So as their weight's starting to go, it's kind of like that leaning tree. The feet are over here. They can't catch up, and they're going to go down. That's telling you they're hurt even more. Then you get the ones where the people go forward. We don't fall forward. You are disconnected when you fall forward. I've seen people get disconnected, fall forward, hit the ground, and that kind of shocks them back.
Yep.
And they'll try to fight their way back. But most of the time, that's getting into the point of being really bad. And then you'll get the ones where they get hit and they do the implosion. They kind of fall down like a building on top of themselves. And as soon as you watch them fall that way, they're disconnected. They cannot protect themselves. You're going to come in and stop the fight. So, when you ask about, do you look at that fighter and the way they're falling? You're always looking at the way they're falling, because the way they fall means something.
Yeah. Yeah. Hermes Franca did that to me in the third round. One of the very first kicks he threw, I caught it. He threw like a loopy hook and he hit me right on the temple, and I went face down. As soon as I hit the ground, I was like, boom, I was able to move around and get going. I was like the ground. But here's the funny part. When I hit the ground, when I hit me, my eyes were still open. I could see the floor coming towards my body. I just couldn't move my arms to block my face from hitting the canvas.
Oh no, here goes my face.
Yeah, it's like boom, my face hit the canvas, and then I popped back up and got going. Yeah. But it was when you said that was one of the signals. But yeah, I was able to wake back up, thank God. But it sucks, man. It's horrible. Like you're awake and you can see things coming, but
you just can't move.
Yeah. It's one of those things, not working. Man. Hey, you got to talk about your losses too, as much as you like to brag about your wins, right, Josh?
There you go.
The same thing happened with Eves. I got kicked in the neck, and when I hit the ground, I saw him coming at me to throw more punches, but I was just done. I couldn't move. I was looking right at him, and then he hit me, and then I remember nothing after that. But it is what it is. Life is life, right? Hey, moving on. What was that? I can see you're laughing at me. Well, no, because I mean, like, I'm sure everyone at home wants to hear about me losing, because that's, they all love me so much.
I was just thinking I could relate, because like last night I was drinking whiskey, and then like I could see the pillow coming at me as I fell to one.
I saw that pillow, but it was looking good as I got closer.
It's so funny. If you guys have not seen Podcast Dave's Instagram page, you guys have to go to it. He's got like a bloopers of him falling at his house. It's absolutely amazing. Like falling off the back of the couch, falling off a ladder. His wife saved him a couple times. It's so funny. I think it's great. I think you guys should actually check it out. What was the next fight on the main card?
Next fight.
You like how Dave tried to jump the subject? He tried to jump the subject.
Gian Vellante.
Oh, man.
I actually have Brendan Allen and Kyle Dalkaus. Dalkaus, is that right?
Oh, that's right. That was a good fight.
It was a great fight.
That was a good fight, man. Yeah. There was a lot going on in that fight.
Yes, there was.
How could I forget that? I apologize. Those guys put it out there.
I didn't have it 30-27. One of them had 30-27 for Allen.
Come on, man.
I didn't have it that way.
There is no way. How in the world
no idea.
Are you going to say that Allen came back in the third round? He was in a position that he had. His back was taken. I'm not saying he's receiving a lot of damage. He's doing a good job of defending and keeping the submissions away. But you see his opponent trying to lock up the submissions and stuff. It's just not working for him. He gets up in the last little,
like 15 seconds.
15 seconds, and he throws some shot. There's no way. What that did is that brought it from a 10-8 back to a 10-9 for his opponent. There is no way in the world a judge should be giving that round to Allen. That was bad.
Did you think
the other judges had it right?
Did you think it was close to a 10-8 though for the back?
It was close. Yeah, based upon again, it becomes a lack of offense by Allen. Someone has his back. They're trying. He's stopping everything, but everything he's doing is defending. And in MMA, you get no credit, no points, nothing from the judge in defending. What your defense does is it's all good because it allows you to stay in the fight. It allows you to continue on. But the judge is not going to score any of your defense. It's what you do offensively. So if you stop a takedown, you crush the takedown, and you just push away and do nothing, the judge is going to give you nothing for that takedown defense, even though it kept you from going to the ground. If you stuff the takedown, land one shot, now the judge is giving you credit. Your one shot is now offense. You defended, offense. Now you're getting up. The judge is going to give you credit for that entire sequence.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I just felt like, having the back is sure is a dominant position, but there was no submissions that were really that close for the whole.
Not that we're good.
4 minutes or whatever it was. He had the back. I didn't look at it. I looked at it as just a 10-9 round. So when he got back to his feet the last 15 seconds and landed some shots, I was like, no, you definitely deserve to win. Definitely do not deserve to win the round. Not at all. Yeah, I mean, but I thought it was a phenomenal fight. I thought it was
great.
Really good fight.
There was a whole lot of good things done in that. Obviously, I can't say his name correctly. I apologize.
I think it's Dawkins.
Is it Dawkins?
Yeah, I think it's Dawkins. Yeah.
I thought Buffer said it a little bit different.
Okay.
It's spelled Daukaus. It's like Daukaus or something.
Dawkins. Yeah.
Dawkins. Okay. Right. However, I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong.
If somebody at home knows how to say this, please send us a video.
Yeah, there you go. But undefeated walking in there, and this is the kind of fight when you look and you go, you got an undefeated fighter, and now he's in against someone that everything isn't just going his way. And I don't know how many fights he's had that he had to really push. In that one, he really had some moments. He got hit with that one knee in the beginning.
Yeah.
It was in the first round, and then that he fought his way out of it. He fought his way out of a lot. So again, I know he didn't want to lose, but he's going to learn a lot from that fight. And that fight's going to go a long ways to him being a much better fighter in the future, based upon he was pushed continuously throughout that fight. And he did get the back in the last. And look, he won that round no matter what. He won it on 2 of the judges' scorecards. But at least it showed, man, mentally that kid never gave up.
No.
Never stopped.
No.
And so you got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, it's one of those fights when that's something you can walk away at the end and be like, hey, my conditioning definitely is on par. And I'm able to take some clean shots and I'm able to fight out of some adversity. I thought he did everything he needed to do. He just couldn't get to that next step. He was always one step behind, it felt like. But then when he got to the 3rd round, his conditioning paid off. He just wasn't able to get enough to muster up enough attack for the submission, whether it's the rear naked or whether it was attacking the armbar. But I feel like you, as a fighter, you should have some go-tos in certain situations. You need to have your go-to from the back. You need to have your go-to from the mount. And you need to just try to work from those positions. I felt like he didn't really have a go-to from that position. Even when you're tired, what do you normally like to do? And it just seemed like he kept threatening the choke. There was never a threat of any other arm position. I'm not saying give up the back to attack the arm, but there are different types of wrist locks you can do from that position to help open up the chokes and the arm bars as well. I mean, it's obviously easier said than done. I'm really just splitting straws here, splitting hairs at the end here. I mean, I thought he had a good performance, definitely in the 3rd round. That's a positive note to walk away from and go back to the drawing board like, hey, cool, I need to work on a lot of things, but at least I'm ending on I dominated the 3rd round, had a good 3rd round, and it's something to build on.
Yep.
Stay positive. What was the next one? Maurice Green and
Vellante. That was a good fight. Gian was heavy, man. I'm sorry, but man, he kept coming.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was the conditioning and the lack of oxygen that ended up, I think, catching him and making him tap on something that it's a submission. And we've seen it before. So when they say, I haven't seen that, it's like,
oh my God.
You've been watching this sport at all?
Yeah.
Let me go back to what, UFC 17 or so. Jeremy Horn fights Chuck Liddell. Guess what? Same submission. It's an arm triangle from underneath. It will work. It will actually put someone unconscious if you're good with it. I'm not saying Maurice had it set up exactly right, but Gian was so tired that without, and I think it was Bisping called it an Ezekiel. Possible Ezekiel. How do you have an Ezekiel when you can see both gloves on the outside of the back of the neck and head? Do you know what an Ezekiel is? Do you know where that hand goes?
Well, I mean,
he's gonna be mad at me.
It's okay. I mean, I don't think he's ever claimed to be like a jiu-jitsu expert.
He's not.
It's pretty obvious in his fights that he's not. I mean,
still a fantastic fighter.
Yeah, I love him.
I never said I love the guy. I think he's great. He's I want to say that. Look, I'm being honest. I love Michael. I think Michael's a great guy. I think he was great for the sport. He is absolutely a legend in our sport, especially.
I don't know about legend.
Come on, man. You can take a look
I like to poke
from
fun
the
at
UK.
Michael. Yeah. There's not a lot of good athletes that come out of there. I get it. And so the fact that he was able to rise up from the ground in the UK and come back.
Man, there you
I
go
get it. I understand.
Again, he's a great athlete.
Yeah, you're throwing that word athlete around like it's a little.
Oh man,
no,
you're
but
so bad.
I actually really do enjoy his enthusiasm, his personality. I loved his banter throughout his career. And he had a lot of great fights that I actually really enjoyed watching. I mean, whatever. I mean, legend.
He's a legend. He is.
Well, Michael, we do like you though. We do. So no matter what you have said about before, whatever it is, I mean, still don't know what the name of your podcast is, but it is what it is. I'm going to go hard in the paint on you a little bit later, but we'll talk later. I've always liked you. I tussled you around a little bit back in the day, about 15 years ago, like you said, and showed you how to stop some takedowns one time. And, I mean, you can at least give me a little credit for that. We'll talk later about that. What was the next fight?
That was the main event.
Main event?
Oh, no, Mike Perry. Mike Perry.
Oh, Mike Perry. That's right. Mike Perry against Mickey Gall.
Okay, so before we get started on this fight, before we get started on the fight, Mike Perry, how does the commission allow this, and how does the UFC allow for his girlfriend, who has no experience, to corner him? I just want to know, like, from a real, I'm not fucking around. I'm not trying to make a joke about this. I want to know, how is this even allowed?
Anybody can be licensed as a corner as long as they have.
This is bullshit. I'm just saying.
Whoa.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you're saying bullshit. If you apply for a license as the fighter's trainer or as the fighter's corner person, the commission can't sit there and deny you based upon you not knowing the sport. Can't do it.
No,
because
experience?
the fighter is saying, this is my corner person. The fighter gets to pick who their corner person is. It doesn't mean that the fighter is being intelligent in who they're picking. Okay. And I think that in reality, Mike Perry put himself in a position of disadvantage by entering that fight without somebody in his corner that could do more than cheerlead. But let's be honest. Hold on. You've seen in the past, how many times have you seen corners that were nothing more than cheerleaders? They weren't giving out good instruction. They were not breaking down what this person had to do to change the fight. They were not giving ideas on how to, actually make a change or finish this fight in a certain way based upon good information. All they were cheerleaders. Come on. All the time I see it.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that I thought Mike made the right choice, but it's Mike's choice. And he goes to the commission and says, this is my corner person. The commission goes, okay, fill out this paperwork. This is your corner person. They pay the little fee. They get that license to be in the corner for that fighter.
Okay. So I don't even know where to start with this.
It is what it is.
I know. I understand that. I do understand that. And I do respect the fact that, like, Mike Perry wanted to have his girlfriend do it. That's fine. But you need to have, like, and when you're talking about cheerleaders in the corners, yes, they are cheerleaders. I've seen it a lot. I've seen it plenty of times. But there are also people that have trained with the fighter that's there. Just because they don't know how to corner doesn't mean that they don't know what they're saying. Like they don't know what the techniques are, but they yell, get him, kill him, get up. Like I know it's just bad coaching, bad cornering, but I just can't fathom, like, if they needed to tell them something between rounds. She had nothing to say between rounds. You're doing
yes,
great.
she did.
You look great, Mike.
You look great, Mike.
Yeah,
Mike, you look fantastic. Mike, you're doing great.
The difference.
She was kind of right.
Yeah, but she was right. The difference, though, between the cheerleaders that I've heard before, when they get back to the corners, they sometimes have some advice, like, hey, let's maybe try to get a takedown. Hey, let's maybe try to stand more on the feet, because they've trained with that fighter, or they're not the best corners. Because here's what happens. Your friends, if they coach you or they corner you, right? And they're in the corner when you're fighting. They're a fucking fan. They're yelling, get him, hit him. Okay, throw the right hand. Like, that's all they're doing. Get up from the bottom. Mount him. That's all they're doing.
Stand up.
But yeah, stand up. When they get back to the corner, though, there is advice given, like, hey, let's maybe try to get takedowns this round. You're doing a good job. Water, whatever it is, Vaseline. I don't even know. Anyways. There's a little bit of advice in there. She has no advice. I just feel like there needs to be some sort of experience attached to this. Just fighter safety.
First off, I agree with you that there should be.
Yeah.
But it's not mandated that the fighter makes an intelligent choice in who they select to be their corner person. And the only way that the commission is going to deny that license is if that person has either some type of pending litigation, investigation for different things, is under suspension as a fighter from another athletic commission. Then the athletic commission said, no, we cannot license you. But if you make the choice, I've seen it. So you're going to fight again, and you decide, I'm going to have Podcast Dave in my corner. That's going to be my corner man.
Good choice.
Okay. Good choice. Okay. So you go, and we'll say the fight's going to be in San Jose. So you go to the California State Athletic Commission, and here's your list. You have Bob Cook and you have Podcast Dave. They're not going to sit there and go, okay, Bob Cook knows what he's doing. Who the hell is this Podcast Dave? They're not going to question that. They're going to get the information on Podcast Dave. They're going to check him out. And if he meets just this minor requirement as far as not being under suspension and things like that, he's going to get that corner license.
If I had Bob Cook, I don't give a fuck who else is in my corner. I'm good.
I understand.
Good. He didn't have Bob Cook.
And I was trying not to take Bob away from you. I took Javier away from you.
He didn't have Bob Cook. He had his girlfriend. Like, it's not the same thing.
I know. Look at it.
But here,
I'm not saying you are wrong. Look at, for once, I am sitting here telling you, Josh, you're absolutely right.
No, you've told me many of times I'm right, by the way. I want to make sure that's clear.
This isn't really on the commission. The fighter has that right to make the choice.
I feel like there should have been a little bit of the UFC involvement as well as the commission involvement of, like, hey, like, you got to have somebody that has a little bit of experience. Like,
well, you would hope, let's be honest. And I love Mike. I did Mike's first fight in the UFC, and going back and talking to him, before that fight, told me everything I needed to know about Mike Perry. Okay. Cause he was classic, and he's just, he is just a guy that I'm going to go out there. I'm going to knock his fucking head out. Okay, great. And that's what he does, and sometimes he's actually, if you look, I will give him credit. His skill set has gotten better as far as his ground game. He's strong as hell. He had a takedown. Mickey Gall was grabbing the fence, doing everything he could to keep things from happening. And he just slowly, systematically broke Mickey Gall down. Yeah. He walked through his stand-up after, and look at Gall was hitting him with some good shots at times. Yeah. He was landing some good long distance, rangy shots that had some impact, and Perry just continued to walk through everything. In the end, basically disrespected everything as far as his skill set and said, now you can't hurt me. Yep. And now I know on the ground, I can stay with you. In fact, I can beat you up on the ground. And there was nothing left. And Gall was exhausted. You got to give Perry credit. He was in shape. He fought hard for 3 rounds. He performed. And I totally agree with the corner situation. But I got to admit, Mike Perry has gotten better. He does need to get, and he was saying, I got to find a team and they got to teach me some stuff and things like that. We'll see what he does.
Mike Perry, if you're listening to this, since you are allowed 3 corners, my suggestion is if you're going to continue to do what you're doing, my suggestion is you find a sponsor that wants to be in your corner and you have them pay you 10 grand to be in your corner. That's my suggestion.
There you go. That's a good suggestion.
Money. If you're just going to have random people in your corner, why not find some rich person that would love to be in the corner of a UFC fight?
Good idea.
And fucking,
do you know what you just started?
And make your money that way. I'm being honest. Like, years ago, I had a friend that owned a real estate company, and what he wanted to do is he wanted to be in the corner. And I said, no, for the longest time. Well, he became friends with one of my coaches, and my coach brought him one time and put him in my corner. I was pretty upset over the situation, but he's like, hey, as your coach, I would like you to do this, because I only had Bob and Hav at the time.
Oh, so the coach got the $10,000.
So he ended up, I didn't do that, but I'm saying, like, it was one of those, like, he's my friend. I was like, yeah, he was my friend too before he was your friend. But it was a big situation. I was pretty heated about the whole situation. But if Mike Perry, if you're listening to this, find somebody that is a fan, whatever it is, online. If you're going to have your girlfriend there, you might as well have 1 or 2 more people in there that will pay you 5 to 10 more grand than fucking Reebok will. Okay. And make more money. Because you obviously have you said tonight, you have some tax problems or whatever it is. God. And you're tired of people taking your money that don't care about you. Well, guess what? Make a little bit of money by having people in your corner. You can't wear any of their stuff, but you're going to find that person that's like, you know what? I cornered somebody in the UFC. I was there at the UFC. I was cornered. Why not? If you guys are listening, all fighters. Mike
can't wear any of their stuff, but they get to wear Mike's stuff. So they actually get free clothing.
They actually do get free clothing. So
look at that.
Yeah, I mean, like, bottom line is another way to make money. If you're just gonna have your girlfriend, you might as well have two other guys or 2 other girls or whoever want to invest. $20,000, even more. Charge more if you want. Whatever. They're never gonna get that opportunity again to be in your corner. So if you guys are listening to this, hey, that's a life hack right there. You guys owe me later. I want 5%. Okay. Okay, so let's get back to the main event.
What a fight.
One of the greatest fights I've ever seen.
What, it was I was really surprised how much bigger Dan Hooker looked than Dustin Poirier too.
Oh my God.
I was like, God damn, he looks a whole lot. And he fought at 145 too.
I could not believe it.
Unbelievable. Because Dustin's a big.
Yes, he is.
He was a huge 145. He's a big 155er. He's not a small guy.
No.
And Hooker just looked huge compared to him. But incredible. The first round was a close round. I looked at it. I know that the judges gave Hooker the round, and they did that off of volume, and I totally can agree with that. It's fine. I actually liked the shots. I thought Dustin was landing. I thought he landed heavy shots. Now there was some leg kicks, and there was a couple of good things, but there was a couple of kicks to the body and a couple times doubled up on it by Poirier. I thought he landed the heavier shots. The second round of that fight was one of the best rounds ever.
Absolutely.
I'm just telling you, definitely best round of 2020 so far, because that's probably the best fight of 2020 so far.
I don't know. The one fight we saw last week, Borges and Emmett. That was
great.
Fucking great fight. Great. Also.
But it wasn't a 5-rounder like this one.
No, you're right. But this was you're only talking about the second round though, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Calm down, John.
Second round was God. Yeah, and that's a round where you're looking. Poirier was doing the whole thing of, hey, I'm going to come in and I'm gonna bully him inside. I'm gonna get inside and I'm gonna hit him with big shots and make him have to move. Hooker went to the body so well.
Changed the game.
The body shots that he was landing at certain times, you could see it just shut Dustin down, because it was like he was going also bip, bip, and he was like, oh, I got to take a step back. That one I felt, I got to get my breath, and he would come back. And I actually had Dustin ahead a little bit going into the last little bit of that round, and Hooker lit him up in the last 15 seconds or so, landed some big combos. Man, Hooker definitely took that second round. in just an incredible round by both guys.
Yeah.
Both of them were exhausted. Both of them were feeling it at that time. And I really thought, Dustin's in trouble because he is not fighting this the way he needs to. And then he came out in the third round, and I don't know if it was his corner that talked to him and told him what he needed to do, or if it was what he felt being in there against Hooker, but it was Dustin Poirier's footwork changed that fight. It was his footwork of, let me throw, let me stay the outside, let me laterally move, and let me start keeping the distance and range, and I'll be the guy that maintains that distance. I will make this approach and land my strikes when I want. I'll be the guy setting that offensive tone. I'll be the guy that controls that distance and range, and that will help my timing. And that was the difference in the fight. The fight changed in that third round based upon what Dustin Poirier did as far as fighting more at range for most of the fight than into that phone booth area, getting in tight. That was what I really saw. That was the huge difference because he won that third round, easy.
Yeah.
That guillotine was close. And when he grabbed it, I was like, oh, I said the guillotine was going to be the difference. Here it is. And goddamn, Hooker's a tough sucker. He got out of it, but just a fantastic fight. Talk to me, brother. What'd you think?
So look, I kind of agree with you. I had Dustin landing the cleaner, harder shots in the first. Sure, Hooker.
Even though there were less, no doubt that Hooker landed more.
But that was
more volume than power.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I feel, and I gave the first round to Dustin. Okay. I gave the second round to Hooker. I gave the third, obviously, to Dustin. I gave the fourth to Dustin as well. Though here's the thing, is the first round, I could see why they gave it to Hooker. I didn't give it to Hooker. But I
didn't have a problem with it.
What I was getting to was Dustin had that, you don't deserve to be in here with me kind of a little bit attitude. In the beginning. So he got kicked a couple times the inside leg and kind of pulls his pants up and just kind of shrugged it off like, what? No big deal. And I don't know if that reflects on judges. I don't know these things. But for me, from the outside looking in, I'm going, Dustin, this is a real fighter in front of you. And not only is he a real fighter in front of you, I never realized how fucking big Hooker was until he was standing across the cage from Dustin. I was like, good God, your shoulders are wide. Your physical body is bigger than Dustin Poirier. And Dustin Poirier is a big 155 pounder. Not huge, but he's big. No. And he was a huge 45 pounder. But he's got some thickness to him. He's obviously got power. He's got dogs in his hands. I mean, it was a little bit of that. I think to talk about what you were saying, in the third round, I think by the end of the second round, he realized it was a real fight. And he was like, things changed. Okay. I need to step this up. I need to get back to being who I am. This is a real fucking fight. This is no joke anymore. I think I've kind of got the feeling just with some of the mannerisms in the cage by Dustin that he was not, I wouldn't say not taking it serious. He took it serious. It was like, nah, that didn't hurt. Nah, this is not. It didn't bother me. And I was like, just don't get too overconfident because these kind of things can happen. And I've been on the other end of being overconfident. And I was like, don't be that, And in the third round, he woke up, So I gave him the first round. I thought he lost the second. I had him winning the second up until that last, probably 45 seconds or whatever it was. Nice, clean body shots, big shots against the fence. Dustin circled out. He was tired and tried to circle out towards the end. But I had Hooker win in the second because of that big onslaught at the very end. But
he had some big body shots in there.
Big. I got to tell you, the body shots from the push kick, because the push kick was the game changer in the beginning, keeping the distance, making Dustin come in. Dustin had some good body kicks as well. But that push kick leads to body shots. So when the push kick you can't keep him away from that far away anymore, and they close the range. And he was able to turn Dustin's back to the fence. He was digging the body. Nice. And not only was he digging the body, he went body, but uppercut. And back to body. And I was like, oh, this is good. This is really good. It wasn't good for Dustin, but it was great to see. Because look,
shows how well coached he is.
We have seen some really good fighters, really good stand-up guys in the UFC and in all these organizations, right? In MMA, period. It's very rare that you see guys work the body like that. And not only did he work the body like that, he went combo, boom, boom, then back up top, then combo back down, boom, boom. I was very impressed. And I got to say, let's just say MMA does not work out for him. He's one of those guys, if they ever do get Zuffa boxing going, I could see him potentially doing some sort of career in boxing. It looked phenomenal. Now I know obviously we're stretching things a little bit, but to me, I'm stretching a little bit. But I could see it. He's got the body style for it. The long arms, broad shoulders. He's obviously got the conditioning to keep going. I mean, they had such a punch output in the first 3 rounds. I could see why they started getting tired, especially when the wrestling started getting involved in the 3rd and the 4th a little bit more. And Hooker just didn't have the tank anymore because he took some clean shots in that 3rd round. And that guillotine was tight. That zaps your energy. People don't realize how much defending submissions, any submissions, takes out of you. Your heart rate jumps up because you're getting threatened on a submission. And then especially in a guillotine, starts restricting your air as well as your heart rate jumping up. Like, I got to get out. Because not only are you panicking in those situations, not panicking, but you're starting to stress a little bit, like, shit, this is getting tight. Shit, I can't breathe. But I'm also losing the round while I'm stuck in this shitty position, So you've got everything going through your mind during this time. And so the 3rd and the 4th round, when Hooker started shooting all the time and wasn't getting them, and then every time Dustin was going for the guillotine, he had to start making a choice. Do I go for the guillotine? Do I defend the takedown? I think he started making the right call towards the end, just defend, make Hooker put the energy out, and it paid dividends for him in the 5th. I had him up 3-1 going into the 5th. It was 1, 3, and 4. I had him. I'm not going to get too much on Bisping over the 2-2 nonsense that he was spitting, but I'm going to keep going on I thought it was 3-1 going into the 5th.
Yeah, my son was here with me watching it, and he had a 2-2 going in. He said, nope. He says, you watch. All the judges are going to give Hooker the first round. You watch. He was right.
Yeah, that's true. But here's the thing. That first round, I could have been a little bit of my homerness going in there because I'm a Dustin fan, and I became more of a fan of him tonight, obviously. So, great fight though from both fighters.
Unbelievable.
It's up there in that top 2, maybe 3 fights of the year. I put it at the top though because of the caliber of the level of which they were. What was the 3rd fight? There was
what they put it out.
What was Borges and Emmett, and then it was there was another 3rd fight that was really good this year from them. I don't recall. Anyways, but those two fights.
The fight of the year though, I you look back, it's going to be tough to beat freaking Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Oh no, sorry, that's the fight of the year.
Weili Zhang. Yeah,
that's for sure the fight of the year.
I was going to say it's going to be hard to beat that.
No, but that was this year. Mm-hmm. Good God,
was it 2020?
Was it 2020 or was it December?
It was close. Might have been in December. That's what I'm thinking.
I think was it December? I think it was.
I don't know, but it was close. But it just
I bet you. I think it was January or February.
It was March 7th.
Jesus, we were way off.
2020.
2020, March 7th.
Thank you very much.
It was the week before
COVID.
There's COVID. Week before COVID.
And that was it.
God,
that was a hell of a fight.
That for sure. That's fight of the year. But yeah, that's that was another thing I was going to ask you. So I'm on the board for the fighters only, I think, awards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Are you on it too?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept writing that fucking fight down quite a bit. I was like, this fight is good. I was like, I wrote that fight all. Anyways, I probably wasn't supposed to say anything, but
I don't know what I'm supposed to say, so I just let it go.
It's all right. It's all right. What else is there? What else can we talk about? Well, let's fuck it. Let's just get into Bisping. I'm going to get into Bisping's ass real quick. Bro, you're not making...
Hold it. Bisping says you cannot talk about UFC fights because you're a Bellator commentator. And
bro,
they're just way better. So I just laughed. I loved his whole thing.
I like him a lot. It's probably hard for a lot of people to understand. I like the way he did it on his show. He did this whole like banter about it all. And he said like, oh, we tussled around. I trained with him like probably 15 years ago right after I got off the Ultimate Fighter at Huntington Beach, Tiki Goshen's gym.
Right.
Back in the day, I trained with him a little bit there and, taught him a couple little wrestling moves to keep his back off the fence kind of thing. I like give him a hard time. But look, whatever, man. He's entitled to say what he wants. I'm not quite on the legend. I don't think he's quite in the legend category, but he's definitely up there where he definitely needs to be mentioned, especially for country-wise. I've got him up there as far as, the biggest name to ever come out of his country, I think, in MMA, period. It's good, man. I like the banter back and forth. I can take it. I like to dish it, as you know. That's why we're friends, and you take it very well. So does Podcast Dave. Well, sometimes, but you take it very well. That's why we're so close. But it's fun. It's really fun.
You can't let the stuff get to you. It's like, man, it's all fun.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. So
I just laughed because he said, like, hey, I'm not going to even mention their podcast name because it's like that's a really small podcast. And I was thinking
that's because he's worried.
Ooh. Well, I just started laughing because I was thinking to myself,
he doesn't really have an MMA podcast.
Isn't it an MMA podcast? What kind of podcast is it?
It's a bit of everything.
Oh, it's a bit of everything. Okay. I looked at it. I was like, oh, wow. Like, I wonder how long they've been doing this. Like, what is it a show? So I looked it up and I was like, it's called like You, Me, and Somebody or something like that. I don't even know what it's called. Anyways, but he's been doing it. I saw how long has he been doing it?
Believe You, Me.
Okay, whatever. You, Me, and somebody else.
Believe You.
I guess he must have a partner or something on there. He was like trying to instigate him into.
No idea who
he's trying to instigate him into like, hey, let's have a podcast war. And I'm thinking to myself,
well,
I looked it up and the date and then Podcast Dave, talk to me.
It's almost 4 years.
It's 4 years. Okay, John, we've been doing ours for about 10 months, right? And I think he's got about 70,000 subscribers. We're at about 50,000. He doesn't have one video over 75,000 views. But yeah, we've got over 10. We've got over 10 that are like, we've got a couple that are actually in the 400,000 views. He's got a big goose egg of this many views. So, look, once you get into the 100,000 view category, Bisping, you can just go ahead and hit us up, and you know what? And I'll send you a gift, a big clap and a nice thank you. And hey, I'm hoping that when you respond, that'll get you to the 100,000 views. Okay, so that's great. I love it though. I actually do love it. But dude, I got to tell you, not just us, because John and I can have fun with this. You really pissed off Chad Mendes. Did you see it? Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah, there was a little animosity going on both sides.
That was smoke. Chad Mendes had some nice things to say about you, buddy.
Is that what he had?
I mean,
it was pretty
nice. Gross.
Yeah.
He posted the picture of the Hendo fight and just all the comments about keep my name out your mouth and this and that. But I mean, it's interesting because good wrestler, good MMA fighter. It would make for a fun fight. Let's do bare knuckle fighting. Let's see what that's. No, I mean, Bisping's so big compared to him. Chad's not a big guy, man. Chad's not a big guy.
Look at Bisping. People say what they want. I did Bisping's fight when he won the Ultimate Fighter. That was against Josh Haynes. Okay, so Bisping should be nicer to me because he's won all his titles with me. It's not because of me, but I was just there. So
I love it.
It was, this whole thing this is what happens. And I hate to say this, but I've talked to you about it. When people sit there and they want to make, comments about someone possibly being, under, they use performance enhancing drugs, PEDs, and we've talked and I said, man, if someone has not been popped, don't say that they've done that.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't like someone saying it about you because it's not true because, hey, you never got popped. So if they didn't get popped, shut your mouth. But once they get popped, there's nothing you can do but sit there and take it because, hey. And so this is the position now. I love Chad, but he's in that position, and whatever it was that he got popped for, I'm not going to sit here and talk about it or worry about it. It's always that stigma that's going to ride, and people can push that button now. And Bisping had a very long career, never got popped, never did anything as far as anything like that. So he can sit there and he can push that button time and time again, and it's going to affect Chad in ways because there's nothing he can do to come back. It's just fact, and that's if you're a young fighter, don't do it.
Do you think you saw it as good for the sport?
Yes and no. How's that?
Well, tell me what what the no reasons are.
The no reason is this. I don't think that they're fair. Okay. And when I say I don't think they're fair, they're in a position where at times they know the fighter didn't do anything wrong. Yes, the fighter tested positive. Okay. But the fighter goes and says, look, I haven't taken, here's my stuff. All right. They take a look at it. They can either test that stuff and then they'll see that there's something that's in that. Then they will go to a location that sells that product. Since this is an over-the-counter product, they'll buy it like they're just a customer. They'll take it to the lab, they'll test it, and it comes up with that same thing that the fighter got popped for, and they still then give them a suspension. That is wrong. The fight, to sit there and say, well, you're responsible for what you put in your body. Well, of course you are. Okay, but when it's normal for people, and I understand that, there's a list that, they start putting out and everything, but people go and they believe that if they buy something off of the shelf at a GNC or the vitamin shop or any of these things, they're going to be good. And sometimes they're not, based upon things that aren't even on the product label and ingredients is in that thing. So sometimes I don't like what they do. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair, but I do think that they've made a huge difference in the sport as far as people cheating. And when it comes to fighting, it's a big difference. I personally don't care about people taking steroids and hitting a baseball. Okay.
Yeah, I get two shits about baseball.
Well, it's not because it's baseball. They're not damaging each other. The pitcher takes it and he throws the ball harder. The batter takes it and he hits the ball farther. Okay. Yeah. I'm not saying it's fair if you want to say, but so what? No one hurts each other.
Yeah.
In the sport of fighting, you're physically trying to damage somebody.
Yeah.
So there's just a difference in the taking of it. So.
No, I agree with you. That's the part that always concerned me. Like Romero,
Yoel
Romero, same thing with him, right? He got busted for the samples, and they said they ended up doing tests on I want to say another
Josh Barnett.
Yeah, a bunch of locations they bought from a bunch of different store locations.
Yeah,
they all came back the same way. It wasn't like they just went down to their local GNC and picked one up and okay, it tested positive. No, they bought from a bunch of different locations around and then tested. They all came back with the same thing that he tested for, and yet they still suspend him for a certain amount of time longer. It's like for what?
Yeah, see, that's just not right. I look at that and that comes down to that whole. Sometimes you have an authority. And I have to win. No, you don't have to win. Yeah. You have to be fair. You have to be reasonable, and you have to have common sense.
What do you think is fair in that situation? Until it's completely removed from their system, then they can compete again?
Yes.
Okay. That's
exactly
what I thought too. I was thinking the same thing. Like if it's not
once
in your
they
system,
test again and it's not in their system, and what was in their system, it went through this whole thing, and they found that they took it without knowing. Based upon this product puts it in there and it's not even listed. Hey, once it's out of your system, you're back and ready to go.
Because isn't Jessica Penne going through that right now?
Well, Jessica Penne was going through it. Rachel Ostovich, or I'm probably saying that wrong again, but the girl from Hawaii, Rachel, who just fought Paige, she's going through it. She had the same thing happen, and it's just not right.
Yeah. That's a shitty situation to be in because honestly, your name starts getting the stigma of being a cheater.
And it's not fair.
And that's like printing on the back page after the fact that, that person's clean. That's
no one cares when it's on page 10 and they don't see it.
Yeah. I've always been
retraction.
I've always said that I think it's good that USADA is involved. I clapped my hands when the UFC brought them in. I thought it was a good idea.
So did I.
But I agree with you on this. They do have a little bit too, the power play is there. You can see it, it's happened across the board. I mean, I want to say with King Mo, something happened with King Mo, same shit with him, right? That was the commission though, right? With King Mo?
No, King Mo is the commission.
Yeah. And he just was like, screw you guys, man, I'm done. But yeah, no, when you're talking about, when you give them a little bit too much power and then they just start pulling it and they start using it in different areas where there's just no need to. It's a little bit of that control. But their deal with the UFC, how are they allowing that? Is that just part of the deal you sign with them? Hey, we have full control over the doping.
Yeah, that's it. You can go back. It was one of your stable mates there, man. He's the one that created a lot of this.
Who's that?
Kung Lee, man.
Oh, geez.
Oh, geez. See, you forget these things. But that was, if you remember the UFC, he fought, I want to say it was in Macau.
Yeah, Rich Franklin. Was Rich
tested, came back testing positive because they did test there, but it wasn't USADA. And then the UFC, as a promotion, went to suspend him, and things just got bad. And the UFC at that time said, man, we don't want anything to do with the actual suspensions, and that's when they brought in USADA and they said, if you're going to suspend someone, you guys are doing it. We have nothing to do it. We have no say. We don't want to say that, you should do, this long for this person. You guys do it. And that's what, USADA came in and started doing. But again, there's things that they had never worked in the world of MMA. And there's some differences. The big thing with IVs was based upon USADA did not allow IVs. MMA fighters were rehydrating with IVs. Well, you can't take an IV because you can mask.
Yeah.
And so, there's been a whole lot of issues at times. So all of those can be taken care of, but the whole win mentality of, well, you got caught, so we have to give you some type of suspension. We have to win. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think Kung got busted. They were saying for growth hormone, right? And I think it was for growth hormone. And I think it was against Bisping. It was in Macau. Did they fight, or was it Rich Franklin? It was one of those two fights. I want to say it was Bisping. It was his last fight.
Yeah, it might have been Bisping.
Yeah, he would have got slapped with the fine and suspension. He was already 42 years old. But here, all that stuff aside, it doesn't help when you're 42 years old and you're posting pictures of yourself fucking ripped. Veins coming out of your shoulders and your chest and your fucking neck and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, if you are using something, you're not being very bright. Like you're 2 weeks away from your fight, And so I remember thinking back to that, going, "This is not like, what are you doing? If you were cheating." So because the tested apparently came back positive. Anyways, yeah, I heard they went through a big process, and I heard they're still being sued by him. I think is what I heard.
Oh yeah,
I'm not.
Still has a lawsuit.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in years. Ran into him a couple of times at some of our Bellator fights here in San Jose, but we don't really talk a whole lot. I think ever since he quit fighting, he moved to SAC in LA and back and forth for movie stuff, but not a whole lot of communication. That's a shitty situation to be in. I can see why they brought USADA in, and they're still going through all this problem now. But I mean, I feel like it really is putting here. You could end up ruining a fighter's career, like with Jessica Penne right now. I don't know what's going on with her, but something's like she's basically being suspended because it's a second offense for 3 years. Well, she's, I don't know, 36, 38, something like that. Where do you go? You're done.
No, you're done.
Like you're done. 3-year suspension for a fucking tainted supplement. That's not my fault. So, I mean, I feel like you do is once it's out of your system and it's a tainted supplement, there needs to be some sort of rule that says, hey, okay, go ahead and get you back in. Yep. But I don't know. It's a shitty situation to be in.
There's no perfect.
Yeah.
I wish there was a perfect. There's not.
Yeah. They should just let us write the rules. Well, never mind. They already did let you write the rules. Sorry. Is there a card this weekend?
I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Okay.
They also just announced that Adesanya and Costa are coaching tough.
No, that fight's gonna be a while now.
That's good news and bad news.
Yeah. Well, that makes me wonder because Costa wanted to be the coach and he wanted 15 million. I don't think he got both. So he probably, I would say he probably got a million or two maybe for that fight. We'll see.
Yeah. July 4th weekend, there's nothing.
Nothing. It's gonna be a fucking great fucking fight though. Izzy and oh jeez.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's gonna be a fucking great fight. Oh man!
Speaking of great fights, the card that right after July 4th is the big 251.
The Fight Island. Yeah. Fight Island. We've talked about that already.
The July 11th is going to be that's a good one.
What's look? Tell me all the fights on that card, please.
So of course your main event is Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway, and then you got Peter Yan and Jose Aldo. Jessica Andrade versus Rose Namajunas, and then Amanda Ribas and Paige Van Zandt.
Okay, so out of those fights, what do you think is the fight that's going to steal the show?
out of those fights, man,
Don't take my
you're gonna say Rose Namajunas against
No.
Andrade just because you're a Rose Namajunas.
I am a Rose fan,
lover.
but that's not the fight that's going to steal the show. It's not the fight that's going to steal the show.
You know, I honestly I would say, but it's between two in my opinion.
No,
I think
one. Can't
I
pick
think the
two.
I think the Peter Yan fight is going to be really good. I think that's going to be just a blazing fight. The real question in my mind is, does Jose Aldo bring in leg kicks? Does he bring his leg kicks back? If he brings his kicks back, I think it's going to be a barn burner. If he doesn't, I think the fight's not going to go that well for him. So
Really?
yeah, don't try to box with Peter Yan.
Yeah,
Not a good idea.
I think if Aldo uses his kicks as well as his knees, that will the knees especially will keep Peter Yan's elbows to his ribs, which makes it less likely for him or less opportunities for him to throw punches. You know, I'm sure he's going to box, he's going to throw, he's going to do those things. But I got to tell you, when you had a guy, every time guys that we had in the gym or myself also had guys that we fought that had big power and were good, good boxers, I would always try to throw knees up the middle. Let's boom, like just slip off line, throw the knee up the middle, because that made them, or body kicks, because that made them keep their elbows loyal to the ribs, which means it less likely for them to punch. So if Aldo is to throw the knees, Aldo's to throw that body kick, like you saw against Jeremy Stevens, he landed a body punch. But if he throws that body kick or those knees, I think that'll keep Peter Yan's hands loyal to his face and his elbows to his ribs, and that'll take away a lot of the offense that Peter Yan has.
changes the ability to be offensive.
So I actually, that was my fight. I was actually expecting that one to come.
Ooh, look at that!
Yeah, I thought it was
honestly, it'll be great. But I really do. I have the question: if Aldo comes and fights in a fashion that he throws kicks like he did in the past, because he's going to have to, in my opinion. Yan is good with his hands, but he's really good with his kicks at times too. And Aldo has got to match him into doing some damage to take away that base. If he doesn't take away the base, I think he's going to have some problems.
I just think every time people continue to underestimate him, like, oh, he's old, he's washed up. What is he? He's only like 32 or 33.
33.
Right?
Yeah.
Jose Aldo's only like 33. I swear, man, he must have been like 19 in the WEC when he was fucking champion. I feel like he's been fighting forever.
He has.
Jeez. He's been
You figure he was
good.
the first featherweight champion in the UFC. When he walked over from the WEC as the champion, they handed him that belt.
Yeah.
And he held on to that sucker for a long time.
Does he go on your I can't say Mount Rushmore. Is he no, I'm just saying, if he wins the title now and defends it 2 or 3 times at 135, he was so dominant at 45. And people will say that Max is the greatest 145 pounder. No, I think Aldo.
No, he's not.
I don't think so either.
I love Max. I mean, I absolutely love Max.
Yep.
You come close to saying he's the best.
No. So but I mean, where does that put Aldo in that talk of top tiers if he's to win the 135 pound championship? Now he's a 2-division champion.
Really, in my opinion, it would just be, all right, he wins the championship. What does he do from there? Because if he goes on and defends that title a couple of times, you're starting to put him into, hey, he's got 2 wins against Frankie.
Yeah. Two wins against Chad Mendes, 2 wins against Frankie. Yep.
2 wins against. Does he have two or 1 against Uriah? I know he had the one in WEC. Did they end up fighting? I don't think they did.
No, he stopped with leg kicks. He didn't stop him, right? But it was leg kicks.
Oh, the leg kicks were horrible in the WEC fight. But I mean, he was just so dominant for so long. If he comes into 135 and wins it and defends that sucker, he's moving himself into that category of, he's definitely one of the best that's ever done it. It's the style. His style has changed a little bit. People took a lot away based upon that Conor fight. They took a lot away from him. One fight.
So unfair too.
Well, yeah, and it was, there was so much that went into that whole thing. And you're always trying to tell fighters and talk to them, hey, Let it go. Don't get mad. You never fight mad. Fight smart. Conor was good enough to get into his head and make him overextend, make him mad, make him want to rip his head off, and that's exactly what Conor wanted him to be like, and sucked him in. That happens.
Yeah. And then he had, he's had some up and down performances, and the lack of kicks. I think a lot of talk about that, and just moving forward. But I hope he ends up winning. I hope he beats Peter and shuts everyone up, because everyone just keeps doubting him. People keep second guessing him. And I'm sorry, man. I love the old dogs. I want the old dogs to keep winning. So I'd love to see him keep doing it. It'd be great. I mean, he's got a tough task after that. He'll probably have Sterling next, and then it would be probably Morison after that. So you have those.
If he gets past Sterling.
Is Morison and Sterling fighting? You're talking. No, Sterling would be next. If he beats Jan, he'll fight Sterling next.
I'm saying if Aldo gets past Sterling.
Yeah.
Aljamain? Aldo's looking good.
Looking good. So good.
He's polished.
But those
He's shiny right now.
Yeah, but all of all we do is we talk about the up and comers. We don't talk about the old guard, the old bull at the top of the mountain, just going, I'm gonna walk down there and fuck all of you. I just love it. I love it. I'm just like, why would I sprint down there and fight?
It's the old lion sitting with all the scars on his face.
Man, it'd be great though.
All the mane that is kind of all screwed up. Beware of that lion.
Yeah, you should always be afraid of an old man in a young man's sport.
Yep.
That's the way I look at it. It was, I'm excited for that fight. I think that fight's going to steal the show, to be honest. I hope it does, and I hope Jose gets it done. Who else? The main event is who?
Usman and Gilbert.
Yeah.
So I saw Usman is training with Gaethje.
Yeah.
So Usman and Gaethje and Khabib are all managed by Ali.
Yes.
It's got to be so strange, man.
It's that?
So strange. I don't know. I just think it's weird. Like, you have a man, and I'm not knocking him. I'm just simply saying, like, it's got to be weird. Like, you manage all of us. We do our dominance, parties and events at some of the UFCs, and now, like, I've got guys that are all fighting each other. I thought it was a good idea for Henry Hoof to step aside.
Speaking Portuguese now.
Yes, for him to step aside and let these guys fight. I thought it was a good idea. He won't be cornering either one. He was not training either one. And gives him a chance to work with other people during this time. And I would imagine he would go to the fight and watch. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I think it's gonna be a great fight. I want to know, because I didn't know that Gilbert Burns had fought Dan Hooker, and he got stopped by Dan Hooker.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. I never saw that fight. I'd never heard about that fight, and I don't know where I was or what was going on. But yeah, man, but now you have Burns fighting for the 175 pounds. I think he cut too much weight to get to 55.
He did.
I think he was cutting too much weight. He's a really thick, solid kind of guy. So him maybe at 170 is good. I'm interested to see how this whole thing pans out. I don't know if that works for Usman though, because Justin Gaethje is not a submission expert, and I'm sorry, but if you plan on taking Gilbert Burns down, that's a scary thought. That's a really scary thought, because he's good, really good on the ground.
His jits is legit.
Wow. So
he is there's black belts. He's a black belt.
Yeah.
No, he's world class.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference.
Yep.
Huge difference.
But I could say the same. Usman's world class black belt level wrestler. And he's huge. He makes Gilbert look small. So, and Gilbert's not big for 170, but he was big for 155. But he's a thicker guy. But Usman's enormous for 170. He's tall, long, lanky, and we saw with the Colby Covington fight, he's got great conditioning. It's going to be a great fight. I think this. I would like to see how it all pans out, but I think that Usman's going to try to keep it standing a little bit more. I think he's got something up his sleeve for him. After watching the Colby fight, he's going to try to stand a little bit more. He's got to keep it. If he does get the takedown, he's got to probably stay in that side control position, try to get the takedowns, go right to mount, something along those lines. Body locks to side control, body locks to mount, body locks to hip toss, drop him to the side so we can get a side control, maybe take the back. But it doesn't benefit you a whole lot to try and jiu-jitsu a good jiu-jitsuer. So I don't know. I don't know where you go from there, because if you sit up and strike and you try to do a lot of damage, waste a lot of energy on the takedown, do you posture up and go submissions, or posture up and go ground and pound, but then you end up opening yourself up for submissions? Honestly, I can't tell you where he should go.
It's the real difference is exactly what you're saying. He should not burn energy trying for takedowns.
Yeah.
That doesn't play out well for you. But if the opportunity is there and you can just, he's almost giving it to you, almost baiting you into a takedown, that's okay. Use the takedown. The thing you want to do is make sure your hands stay inside. You don't post your hands onto the ground or anything like that. And if it's up against the cage, let him get to the point where he is getting up, and utilize that timing to either land the big knee, land the punch, do damage in making him he's going to get himself back up, and you're going to just land that one shot that's going to just put that little chink in the armor and just slowly start to diminish him. It's all about doing things in a smart fashion. You don't have to fight the true ground game with a guy like Burns, because you're at the disadvantage, but you can play the ground game and play it smart and do damage to him, where eventually when you do go down to the ground with him, you do stay on top of him and you do more damage, and you make him pay for all the things that have happened in the fight, and that will lead to your win. It's just a game. It's about playing a smart game plan. Got it.
Interesting. I like to get a ref's take on things sometimes.
I'm clueless. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I love it. I'm on point tonight, huh? Hopefully you guys. You guys enjoyed the show. What else we got? I think that's pretty much it, right? That's something about it for right now. Hey,
we're not going to have it. We're not going to have anything to talk about as far as fights.
No.
With the UFC, which we're not supposed to talk about, according to Michael Bisping. So I feel good about that.
Fun. I love it. That was
awesome, man.
Look,
Michael, just want you to know, I wasn't talking about you with the judging, really. I was really talking about Dom Cruz was the one that said Bilal Muhammad might win this round based upon what was happening. He did say it. It was ridiculous. And that's just the way it is.
Don't be nice to Michael Bisping.
Then we're going to have Dom Cruz replying.
It's all right.
We're going to have to talk about that next week.
That was a crazy comment.
Look, if you guys are listening to this show, you guys need to go to Bisping's, view his stuff, so maybe we can get him to 100,000 views on one of his videos. I mean, he's like 4 years in, 250 videos up, and still hasn't broke 75,000. I mean, once he gets to where we're at on our level a little bit, hey, we're kind of the A team, Bisping. If you haven't figured that out,
people don't realize this is called pushing buttons.
Yes. So we're kind of the A team, as you were referring to. We're kind of multiple videos over a couple 100,000 views. But anyways,
the best part is,
I love it.
We can talk about all MMA.
Yes,
it doesn't have to be just one promotion, because you see there are fighters outside of just one promotion, and those guys actually do fight. Like when Michael used to fight outside of that promotion, and so it's good to talk about all promotions, and it kind of says that you're all about the actual sport. So kind of like that part too.
Yeah, you guys can only talk about the UFC, Homer. All right, guys. Hey, I love you, Michael. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show, Michael. Hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button, please, and tune in, because we got more shit talking for you later on. All right, guys. What do you want to say? Say goodbye?
No, that's good, man.
All right, guys.
I think I pushed enough buttons. I was happy.
Podcast, Dave, anything?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Like I just said, YouTube, hit the thumbs up, subscribe button, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, all those things.
Dustin Poirier, great performance, dude. You were awesome.
Absolutely phenomenal. All right, boys. We're out of here. Late.
See ya.